Hey there, welcome back to another review. So today's review is this here little bad boy, a mini ready palm size quadcopter. I usually don't really keep the boxes, but I just kept this one here to show you the size of the all up package that arrives in this little quad. So this is it, this is the box. And this is the transmitter and the quadcopter in one. So you can sort of see it's about 12 centimeters by 8 centimeters is the entire sort of package, so it could well fit in your pocket. It's sort of the size of a decent sized smartphone now. So what you get on it is you get this here, you get a charging cable, and you also get a manual, which is here. There we go. And that's pretty much it, but that's pretty much all you need really. So we'll just go through some of the functionality. The manual's in English, it's in good English. Gives you all the functions of the little quad, gives you what comes in the package. It gives you pre-flight preparations, which is a nice touch, charging information, and then it gives you all the button layout of all the buttons in the little quad. And so I've had this here probably for about a week and a half now, and it's brilliant fun. It's great fun because you can sort of push it a bit and you don't have to worry about breaking it because of the casing around it. Sometimes even these here wee ones, you can sort of damage them. You can damage the props on them if you hit them too hard. But this here is pretty much indestructible. Yeah, so the manual's pretty good. It's not broken English. It's well laid out. It takes 4 AAA batteries, as you can see. But yeah, that's pretty good. The charging cable, if I take out the little drone, or quadcopter, sorry. So the charging cable plugs in here, and then on the end you can plug it into a 5-volt power supply, whether it's your phone charger or a USB port in your computer. And the battery's embedded inside it, you can't take it out. So yeah, so this here doubles as a transmitter. Size wise from this here, it is about 7 centimeters by 6 centimeters roughly. So it's absolutely tiny. And as I said before, it's indestructible. I've smashed this thing about all over the place and there isn't a dent on it. Yes, so this here's the transmitter. There's batteries in it. I don't have a screwdriver. Take my word for it. They're AAA batteries. There's 4 in there. Okay, so we have the top functional buttons. We'll just switch it on here. So we switch on the little quad. You can see the battery indicator light, so you can see it's flashing. We switch on the transmitter, down, and that's it. It's bound. So it's not as if you have to hit the up and down, which happens quite a lot. On this one here, literally you just put the throttle down to the bottom, and we have the little quad bound with the transmitter. Yeah, so in terms of functionality, it's not an altitude hold because the stick is at the bottom, and if the stick was in the middle, and similar to this here in terms of sort of maneuverability, it would be altitude hold. It's not. What this here does though, it has rate mode. You can change the rates on it. It also has a flip button, so it can do 3D flips. These 2 buttons here are the left and right trim buttons, and these 2 here are the forward and back trim buttons. And then these here, this one here, from memory, is the headless mode. So if the quad has lost orientation, you don't know what way it is, you push this button, and then when you push back on the correct stick and not the throttle, no matter what way you are, it'll come back to you. This one here is a 1-button return to home, which theoretically you push this button and the quad should come back to roughly where it took off from now, or the direction it took off from. That one there, nah, it sort of heads in your general direction, but it's not excellent, to be honest. That's the only real gripe I have with it, is that the 1-touch return to home button, it brings it towards you, but it doesn't bring you back to home really. And to be honest, I have a lot more expensive quads that don't really perform any better than this anyway, so I don't think it's really a negative to this here. I think it's just a function that really none of them have nailed down. So yeah, but overall it's pretty good little sort of craft. Really punchy, so if I just hold it down, okay, so I'll just try in front of the camera to do a bit of hovering here. It's not going to happen indoors. It's really, really windy outside, so I can't really get any stock footage for you, or any footage for you. We'll just wait while we're at it. Come on. There we go. So we're in grams. So we'll plop it on it. And there, if you can see, it's just sort of about 24.5 grams, 24.36 grams. And just for the fun of it, we'll weigh the transmitter with batteries, and it's 135.25. So yeah, functionally, pretty stable little quad to fly for all the size of it. It is very sort of stable. You can trim it out quite a lot. This one here has a tendency for some reason to want to go right. It's maybe just a slight difference in the power of the motors, but I can trim it out quite quickly, and it trims it out. Once it is trimmed, then you switch it off and switch it on. You do have to retrim it, but it's not a big deal. A couple of seconds really, if you know what you're doing. Trims it front to back and left to right. I usually trim left to right first and then front to back, and once you have a nice stable hover, that there's when you can start to sort of mess about with it. It doesn't have an onboard camera. You wouldn't really expect one for something this small. Just really good to learn to fly with, and it says 14 plus, but my 8-year-old daughter has had great fun with this little thing. The battery lasts probably about maybe 4.5 minutes, which is the only downside, is the fact that it's not one that you can change the batteries out readily. The battery's inside it, so after 4.5 minutes you have to recharge it. Recharge time, I used just like an Apple phone charger, and it took about 20 minutes with that there to charge, so it's not a massive sort of undertaking to charge it. It took a wee bit longer in my USB and my computer for some reason, but yeah, really enjoyed it. My daughter enjoys flying it. You could smash it off the wall, drop it, you could hit it off the ceiling. You're not going to break this little thing. So if you don't want to be running about buying spare parts left, right and centre, and you want something that you can chuck in a car or you can chuck in a backpack, this here is an excellent little drone. And hopefully I'll update it whenever the weather calms down and we'll get a bit of flight footage of it. But it is stable in the air, it's easy to fly. The controller is actually surprisingly comfortable because you have this bottom bit to grip onto. The sticks are pretty small. As I said, it does flips, and when it does the flips it accelerates, so it doesn't just drop altitude, which is quite nice. And then you can change the rates and go from a docile flight to quite a sporty flight whenever it's at 100%. So all in all, really like this little quadcopter. For the money, it's hard to beat, and you're not running about looking for spare props and spare sort of frames and things for it, because it is indestructible. I hope you like this, and thanks for watching.